Hi, my name is Richard McVeigh, and this is my story of failure and growth. See, when people see me today, they see a supervisor with a Health and Human Services for the state of Texas. They see a husband, they see a father, they see someone working for a college degree. What many don't see is how unlikely that path was just a couple of years ago. See, I dropped out of high school in 1995. At that time, I convinced myself that school just wasn't for me. I earned my degree, my GED, or good enough diploma, what they used to call it, a couple of years later. So I got that. But for a long time, I stayed in my comfort zone. I worked hard. I never believed that college or leadership was something that I was ever going to do. I just plainly didn't want it. I didn't want that responsibility, right? I mean, I had dropped out. I wasn't even responsible to finish school. I worked. I was surviving, not growing. So then my life changed. What happened? How did my life change? Well, a little over 2 years ago, my mother passed away. See, losing her forced me to stop right there on my tracks and think about the legacy that I want to leave to my children, for my children. And as I reflected on her life, I realized that she had so many dreams and aspirations. We would talk about places she wanted to visit and experiences she hoped to have. I mean, she was only 65 years old. We were talking a few days before her passing. But just simply, time ran out. You know, she never had a chance. Watching that happen changed the way I looked at my own life. I realized that if I wanted my children to believe they could accomplish difficult things, I had to show them, not just tell them. Lead by example, right? I couldn't keep putting my own goals on hold or waiting for the right time because tomorrow isn't promised. I wanted my children to see that it's never too late to chase your dreams, keep learning, and becoming the person that you're capable of being. Around the same time, I was promoted to supervisor. I accepted a position I feared. Suddenly, people looked to me for guidance, coaching, and leadership. And I quickly learned that leadership isn't about having all the answers. Oh no, it's about serving others, building trust, but most important, it's about helping people become successful, at least in my eyes. That realization was both exciting and intimidating. See, not long after, I made another decision that scared me, made me shake in my boots. I'm 46 years old. I enrolled at college with Texas Tech University. Being part of my first class, I remember at so many years, it was just intimidating after so many years being out. I questioned whether I belonged there. I balanced a full-time career, full-time responsibilities as a family man, father, and now school. And there were moments when I felt overwhelmed. There were nights when I wondered if I had taken on so much. This coming from someone who refused to have responsibilities. I refused to be a leader. I refused to take on more than I needed to. But every assignment I completed, every challenge I worked through, reminded me that growth happens outside of our comfort zone. See, I wasn't trying to prove anything to no one. Oh no. I was trying to prove to myself that it's never too late to invest in your own future. See, today I'm pursuing a degree in organizational leadership while also completing a second major in human resources. Now, my goal is to continue growing as a leader so I can better serve others, serve my team, and eventually help develop future leaders through training, maintaining organizational skills, and so on. See, because leadership doesn't end just with one person. It must continue. And you have to show, you have to train and show them. Every day at work, I have the opportunity to coach employees through challenges, celebrate their successes, and remind them that improvement is a journey. It's not a destination. No, because I've struggled myself. I understand what it feels like to doubt your own abilities. That experience has made me a more patient, empathetic, and supportive leader. See, the biggest lesson I've learned is that failure doesn't define us. No, what defines us is how we respond to it, how we act. Dropping out of high school should have been the end of my story. Right there, plain and simple, that should have been the end. But it became the beginning of a much better one. Losing my mom? taught me that time is precious and tomorrow is never guaranteed. Returning to school taught me that growth is always possible if we're willing to take that first step. Don't be scared. Together, all those experiences reshaped not only my future, but also the kind of leader, father, and example that I want to be. If there's one thing I hope others take away from this story, my personal story, is this: your past does not determine your future, no matter your age, your background, or any other mistakes that you might have done. You can choose to grow. Don't wait for the perfect moment to pursue your own goals, because none of us know how much time we have. See, a quote from Glennon Doyle that has stayed with me is: if you can't beat fear, do it scared. If you can't beat fear, do it scared. Glennon Doyle said that. I think that captures my journey perfectly. I was scared to return to school. I was scared to step into a leadership role. I feared taking on something new after so many years away from education. But I learned that courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is choosing to move forward even when fear is there. Leadership begins with you leading yourself first. Lead yourself. When you're willing to take that step, keep learning, embrace discomfort, and refuse to give up, you not only change your own life, you inspire others to believe that they can do too. My name is Richard McVeigh, and thank you for listening to my story.